din nou, stimați telespectatori, am revenit în studiourile Business Days. După ce am discutat despre antreprenoriat social, după ce am discutat despre educație, aducem în discuție un alt subiect care este foarte la modă, ca să zic așa, pentru că afectează foarte mult companiile și afectează foarte mult angajații. De această dată vom vorbi cu doamna Sorina Bradea. Bună ziua și bine ați venit!
Bună ziua și mulțumesc pentru invitație!
Vă mulțumim că ați acceptat-o. Doamna Bradea este antreprenor și este cofondator al firmei ROMarketing și în același timp este reprezentantul Thomas în România. Și îl mai avem alături de noi pe domnul Sotiris Karagiozidis. Welcome!
Thank you!
Domnul este reprezentantul Kilpatrick Executive Search. Tema discuției este engagementul sau cum să faci în așa fel încât angajații să se simtă că aparțin locului de muncă în care se află și că doresc să rămână și să contribuie la prosperitatea societății și la prosperitatea lor. Vom discuta în limba engleză. So thank you very much for being here. And we are going to speak about engagement and about how can the international mobility will affect or is affecting the engagement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will I start? Will you start? Is it a question for both of us?
Yeah.
First of all, it is very good that we are speaking in English because it is always difficult to translate engagement in Romanian.
Yeah.
I already had this problem. So.
Exactly. It's not only your problem. Engagement in Romanian means much more things. In English, it's easy. Engagement, everybody knows what it is.
Yeah.
Yes. In Romanian, we have to speak about the feeling of belonging, about dedication, about implication. So, for Romanian people, we have like 3, 4, 5 words to describe engagement.
And it's about a feeling.
Yes.
More.
It is very much about a feeling, but it is about a feeling that the company is creating through different yes, exactly. Should. I'm thinking to my team, so we are creating using different types of tools and creating a certain type of culture in which the people are very much implicated, because engagement is not something that is just a word. Yes, exactly. You are creating.
You're given by the
it's
company.
not like creativity. You may be born with creativity. You are not born with engagement. The engagement is something that it is developed by the company. And from this point of view, the mobility, Sotiris will speak more about this, but from this point of view, because you're creating the engagement in a certain type of environment, then the mobility will be a challenge for engagement. Exactly, for the company. And I'm sure that you have examples.
More details about that.
First of all, thank you for doing this in English. Even though I understand Romanian and I speak Romanian, Sorina knows better that I can do it. But you know, it's more comfortable for me for some of the things that are not coming. Before I tell you the international mobility aspect, I can tell you how I saw Romanians engaged from my eyes that I came from abroad, and I'm here. I'm here 15 years, and you know, engagement also grew as the level of sophistication of the market grew as well, and education and experience and how exposed were the employees, because in the beginning in 2001 there were coming a lot of investors when I came. People were trying to build their careers. The middle class was made, so people were not that engaged anyway because they wanted to grow in salaries, grow in careers. But as this thing grew, the economy I mean, also the level of engagement grew. Also, the investors and the company adapted a lot in the environment. So it was, yes, Because you know, when an economy is growing, you have to go one step back if you are coming from out, and the others must try to go one step in front in order to do. So I think that in a point of time the thing matched. What I said also in the morning that was interesting is that they asked me in 2002 or 2003, how do I see the future of the Romanian labor market, and I said that I think that the Romanians will be the next hot subject about expatriation, and they were looking at me like I came from outer space. And actually this was the future, because a lot of multinationals came, the world is moving eastern, so after Romania there came new markets, and who will go to the new markets? They will go people that they are growing from here, and this is a logical evolution. Now coming to the question about...
So you saw it happening?
Yes, I saw it happening, and I think that it will keep growing, this thing.
It will continue.
Continue, yes. Which is good and bad. Good is because people are growing, and also the Romanian management and the Romanian way of doing business is exporting. But also you must be careful, like a country, or we must be careful after so much time, I can say, not to have that big brain drain that all the good people will go. Now, to close this first intervention with international mobility, because our company, Kilpatrick, we have 15 countries all around the world, and we see a lot of projects happening. I think that the level of engagement is dropping when you are about to leave, because you're going to, except if we take it differently. There are two ways of expatriation. One, if your current company sends you on another affiliate, which the engagement probably can be, let's say, the same level or even grow. Or even grow, because you think that,
the culture
yes,
is similar.
Yes, or if you are deciding that you have to go outside of your country because you will find a better future and everything, probably you will go for the money or for the career, and in the beginning you are not going to be so much engaged. That probably can change.
Yeah, I think also this will impact. Talking about engagement and mobility, more and more companies, especially multinational companies, they have as a part of their annual performance appraisal interview a very interesting question. How open are you to mobility?
Okay, so
Because
they're asking at the first. At the beginning.
In the annual performance appraisal has between how well did you achieve your objectives, how did you behave compared with our standard behaviors and so on. A key question is how open are you to mobility? And if somebody's answer is yes, I am open to mobility, then it's very probably that the engagement will not go lower. But if somebody is saying no, and there were also people who are saying no because they have family, they have small kids, they don't want to go abroad, but the company will push them to go. Because there are some companies that have such a policy that you should say yes to mobility. And then people are afraid to say no, I don't want to go. So they will be disengaged. So that's a question in which, in accordance with your further decisions as a company, you can grow the engagement or lower the engagement of somebody.
And to enhance what Sorina is saying, believe me that us that we are headhunters, sometimes we are told by our clients to search this in the search phase even. How willing and open will be people to relocate. And actually, this is the companies that they are not getting as an expense the fact that they will have to relocate the whole family, they are the ones that usually they are having the best engagement, because you know, if I'm a Romanian, let's say for example, and I'm about to go to work in Greece, which is 1 hour and 10 minutes.
I would like.
You are all welcome, but I think that will be the opposite. We will all leave. But I'm speaking about distance-wise. It's 1 hour and 10 minutes. But if I'm about to go and work in South Africa, or Australia, or whatever, even Dubai, which is 5 or 4 hours, 3 hours, then it's not that easy.
But we don't have direct flights.
Exactly.
But and also it will be a problem if you want to go for the weekend to visit your family. So the big companies are doing this like a strategy. They will use, let's say, the people and their brain and everything, but they will offer them the possibility to be engaged because I will be more engaged if I'm not thinking that in the evening my family, I will see them only by Skype, let's say.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it is two things, what the individual is ready to do, but also what the company is ready to offer.
Yes, exactly. And what the company and the individual need.
Yes,
Yeah.
you cannot ask from an employee to be engaged and every 3 years go all around the globe and miss his family, or we are talking also about singles.
If he is a high or she high stability person.
And a lot of
profile
yes,
point of
and a
view.
lot of people
Yeah.
would like to have a family as well. I
Yeah.
mean, and if you are mobile all around the world, you cannot have it. So there has to be a balance to this
Exactly.
if we want engagement. I mean.
We are talking a lot about engagement, but
What?
which are the drivers of engagement?
They are so easy to be mentioned. We have in Thomas, and it is recently research that was done on this area, 3 main drivers. And these drivers are the role, the reward, and the relationships. That means that, first of all,
That's so hard to explain. How?
that's why, and to do them. Normally, you want to know what it is expected from you. That means that the clarity of your role, it is very important. That's the first step.
Yeah, you should
Tell
know what
me
to do.
which are your expectations. Let's discuss about my responsibilities. Then give me the autonomy to do this thing, and make sure that I have a challenge. Because if it is a boring role, not a routine role, a boring role, which is totally different, then people will not be engaged. They want to have interesting jobs, interesting tasks. The second one, and to know exactly what you expect from them. Not to tell them at the end of the year, you haven't done what I expected from you, but you forget to tell him or her, what do you expect from me. Then, the reward. And this is interesting when we are talking about the reward. The main aspect is not the money, but the feedback.
Okay.
In reward, the reward means recognizing a person successes, small victories, to give feedback. Yes, because the reward, it's a reward system that the company has. The reward in terms of recognition and feedback is something that belongs to the manager.
They are the tools, actually,
Yes,
of the manager.
exactly.
Yeah.
And the managers can do this.
Yeah.
The relationships. A person will be engaged if they have the feeling of self-esteem, the esteem, and the respect respect and trust in the team. So these are the things that we should look for exactly when we are talking about engagement: role, reward, and relationships. Exactly. Yeah.
And it is interesting to see how this is changing based on the level of who for somebody is in the company. Entry level positions is different, top management position is different. What engagement means, I mean, so somebody that he's new in a company, probably he will be engaged from the beginning if he knows, for example, that he has a specific career path and he has a future. And also
which is the role in the
and
company,
he's given
exactly.
feedback, like Sorina is saying, and also he's rewarded for his good effort, and not only with good words, but also financially speaking. As we grow, and we are going to more leadership positions with very big responsibilities and everything, sometimes engagement can be, let's say, under a lot of brackets enforced, because if, for example, I am now 40-something, 47 years old, and I'm having my career and my position and everything, it's not so easy that if I lose my job to find probably something equivalent. Or sometimes if I have made a lot of things in a company, I feel the company like it is my own company. So the drivers are the same, but the motivation
Is different.
is different.
You said something very interesting, and one of the speakers that I had yesterday in the employer branding workshop mentioned also the difference between loyalty and engagement. It's not the same, because loyalty, I'm staying there because I have a job, I have a good position, I'm feeling comfortable. I'm not necessarily engaged. I'm staying there because
I'm
it's more
comfortable.
exactly. Engagement means doing that extra mile, which is more than
And
the
feeling
loyalty
to
and
do
feeling.
that.
And if you allow me to say, probably engagement is one of the factors of loyalty. So the more engaged you are, potentially you can be more loyal to a company.
The authentic
Yes.
loyalty.
Or what we were discussing outside, Sorina, before we entered, that sometimes if somebody is frustrated but he's engaged, probably he will give a second and a third chance to his
to the
company. He will not leave with the first time.
Yeah.
And also, of course, it's a matter on the economy that you are working on. I mean, if you are in Greece, for example, now that we have 30% unemployment,
Exactly. Yeah,
probably you are forced to be, engagement is low, but loyalty is high,
have to
because
be
if you lose your job,
You have to,
and you probably you swallow a lot of things.
Because you mentioned figures, it was done a research last year, and I think the global one was done this year, which is a little scary, because the idea is that from the whole population, that it is a working population, 83 or 86, something in this range, it is disengaged. Not engaged, disengaged.
So it's a global problem.
Yes, it is a global problem, and maybe it should be looked after it globally and not only in our country. Now, in our country, and this is what we spoke about, you know, it was like Romania in Europe was on the 4th or 6th place as the level of engagement.
So
And I said,
the engagement is higher.
it seems that we as a country, we have engagement
We are
much
very
higher
engaged.
than other countries. I would say that maybe it's not engagement but loyalty.
Yeah.
You know, and then yes, it can be higher.
We had the price, we had some
But you know what?
investments leaving. And
But you know, Anka, what will be interesting? In the morning, in my intervention in the conference, I said that the numbers say that in 2030, in some of the world's economies, there will be more position than people to work.
Yes.
So it will be very interesting to start talking about engagement on the reverse way. How much engaged are the companies
To the
with their
employees.
employees?
Yeah.
Because in 2030, what we predict like headhunters is that our clients will not be the companies. We will have people that they will be the ones that they will have the power and they can select where they go. So let's see, now that we are talking today, are the companies engaged to their employees as well? Do they have the real engagement, or sometimes it's a nice bubble that it is hidden below corporate social responsibility and work-life balance, and they think that it is work-life balance if they offer you everything inside the company. In the company we have a kindergarten, we have a gym, we have a cinema, and we have everything, and we
So
have a
stay
bed as well.
here
Stay
24
there, okay,
hours.
stay 24 hours. But you know what we offer to you? We
Do
have
you
a,
need this?
we have a
Do you
graveyard
need this?
also, because if you die while working, we will not bury you somewhere else. We have our own graveyard also in the company. No.
Yeah, you're very right. You're very right, because we're always
it's
looking.
actually scary, but
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
We're looking how engaged are people. And again, somebody mentioned yesterday the idea that we should be engaged as a company to our candidates.
Yes.
And I liked very much this idea, not looking only for the employees, but looking also for the candidates, because the engagement is starting from there. If you're attracting the right people that are good for you, and how do you care about them after they said yes. Or what are you doing if they will say no? Maybe in 2 years you'll come back to them and ask them, okay, now you're the person I need. So yes, companies should look to what people need to be engaged, and not only what they want to offer to the people. Because engagement, it is a two-way working. It's not only communication. It's a two-way working. What you as a person you need, and what me as a company I need, and then let's match and see which is the matching.
And have a rationale behind it. I mean, to be reasonable.
Exactly.
You as a company, you have have to have the flexibility in order to.
But
Yeah.
also
some
the employee.
adjustments in,
Also, the employee
Yeah,
needs
yeah.
flexibility.
Correct, because
Yeah.
you know, for example, Winston Churchill, which is one of my role models, talking about graveyards, he said that graveyards are full of irreplaceable people.
Mm-hmm.
So companies and people have to always remember that nobody is irreplaceable. Both ways. The
Yeah,
company,
both ways.
the
Yeah.
company that must not take anything for granted, but
Yeah.
the employee must not take for granted anything. So there must be, let's say, a balance between these things. Otherwise, if the balance
yeah.
is lost,
Somebody will lose.
somebody will lose, and the issue is how.
They lose big actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and I
If
would
you're
have say it's not a matter of how much you will lose, but you will lose, which is a pity because you could have won both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The idea and this concept of engagement in Romania, at least, it is not very, let's say, old. I mean, in the last years, it is a much higher preoccupation to define engagement, to evaluate the level of engagement,
The
to
multinational
do
already
something.
said that.
They brought this idea. But why? Think about Timiș as a county. In Timiș, if we're looking to the unemployment figures,
No,
in
very
many
low.
years it's a negative unemployment figure. That means that it is a hunger of labor force in the market.
Yeah.
So that means that we as a company, we have to do everything what we can and what we afford, of course, in order to keep our employees. Engagement, it is part of this process of retaining
place.
people. Exactly. So I think that this is one of the issue why engagement is becoming such a high focus for companies.
In some countries,
in-
in some
yeah.
regions, because
Yeah.
it's not.
It's not the
nation-
same.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we do not have yet the internal mobility
Yeah.
so high.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is higher than it
From
used
its
to be.
point of view,
Yes,
have
it is.
Yeah,
much,
it is higher, but it is not so high as it is the international mobility. I mean, people are much more open to go to Germany through
yes,
you
of course.
than
To go to Karaś.
to go to Karaś or to go to Craiova or to go to other counties. You know.
The issue is, for example, how these numbers will change while the situation will change. Germany, that you mentioned, probably in 2030 will have 8 or 9 million vacant positions. So
Yeah,
everybody
yeah,
would like to
will-
go there. But how interesting it will be if in an economy it's not like this and people will have to go somewhere that it is not Germany.
Yeah.
I will give an example. There are some trends, for example, in the financial field, that in Central Europe, they are not searching anymore for very experienced people rather than,
Juniors.
let's say, juniors with potential or young people in some specialties. And where they will go, the old people? You will kill them? No. They have to be pushed on other economies. So what if I will propose you, there are a lot of investments in Bangladesh. And you will listen, what is Bangladesh? Bangladesh is an economy with 180 million people.
An
and they are
interesting
happy.
country.
Yes. So what it will happen? What will be the level that the world will blend? What about Africa? Africa is coming
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
What
And it's
abo-
coming to
yes.
Europe.
Yeah.
What about United States?
Yeah.
So it will be interesting to put the essence of engagement in all this, let's say, mobility that exists in the world.
And changing.
And
with
changing,
all the-
yes, and all these things, yes.
Yeah. I was speaking in the morning about some trends. And one of the trends was the changing in digital era, in
Yeah. The
in
technology,
education, and also in health of the people. Now, if we are looking to these three, let's say, challenging directions, and to the level of how companies are able to offer to their future employees what they need, because in these three areas there will be changes. Okay, that means that also people will adapt to the changes.
Correct.
Yeah, that
Will
has
the
some needs.
employees adapt to the changes as fast as the future employee? And this is something interesting.
That's a question actually,
Yes.
because I don't know if there is any answer.
There is,
It is.
there is an answer, because
It
if
is
you
an
look
answer,
if you
yeah.
look at the history of companies, the last 150 years, that there are not so many companies that have survived
Yeah.
150 years.
Yeah.
Probably there are very few. You can count them.
And these are the examples.
Yeah, these are the examples.
Just look to this example and see how they were visionary, because they were visionary, and they managed to be above the changes in the world. And this will be okay. Now it's maybe a multinational has a team which is doing research, but what is doing a Romanian entrepreneur?
Correct.
That's a question, in fact, and the answer is very easy. Be informed, because if you're just looking to your business without putting it in an external environment and not having it in a global economy, I am strong.
And in a world, where information is in everywhere information.
Exactly.
I mean, if you ignore information in 2016, I think it's criminal. I mean, it's like you want to suicide.
To kill ourselves. I'm sorry, but we have to close this.
Oh, really? I thought that we would stay here.
Thank you very much.
We thank you.
Vă mulțumim și dumneavoastră că ne-ați urmărit. Sunt foarte multe provocările și de pe piața muncii locală și de pe piața muncii globale. Antreprenori, informați-vă, citiți, uitați-vă companii, aveți grijă cum vă păstrați angajații. Vă mulțumim încă o dată că ne-ați urmărit. Pentru moment ne luăm la revedere. Mulțumim!